So now this is Baruch Fleischman here and another share in the book. Let's look at it. The Ultimate Connection with God, 7-Step Guide to Jewish Spirituality, Rabbi Mimran. Now, if I was writing it again, because I saw in the last share that I said, I translated the word with God into the word eternity. So it's maybe a little bit more fitting, although this is the basic idea. So now we're on the part 3, we're on another chapter. As I said, this is the 6th shir. He says, so we're going to look at it like this. Part 3 says the illusion of separateness. Rabbi Mimran gets a little bit deep. And so in terms of saying things over, like to try to say a deep concept, is not necessarily an easy thing to do. And he was working on it a little bit of ways to try to teach us, as we see, a new way of thinking and perceiving the world. So let's look over I notice now that there's a box here which I skipped. The last year. It says, Kol Ratzon v'Ava v'Devekus Mikabala Alam Melomala. So he says, all of the will, all of the love, all of the desire to cling, a man receives from up above, Af Shatalu Yakol Ba'adam, even though you get it from up above, but it really depends on you. Mikal Makom, in any case, Sarak L'Kabal Malamalo Shal Olam Yifna Machshavto Lamalo. Because in any case, a person always has to turn his thinking towards the up above, B'Kedusha, towards the level of Kedusha. Kach Mamshet Koch Malamalo. So if you can turn, which we saw just yesterday, we saw in the Zohar is really saying that your days follow you, but that's if your days are really pointed, well, they follow you no matter what, but if the days are pointed in the right direction. So he says, here we go, this idea came from none other than the Vilna Gaon, the Evan Shlema in that Sefer. Now let's translate it in English so we can hear it and understand it really well. Will, love, and level of attachment are all set by governing factors from on high. All of this is controlled from up above. Even though a person will have free choice to decide what to do with these gifts, even though a person has free choice. You don't have to do anything with the gifts on the other hand. Nevertheless, it must first be received from on high, whether or not you choose it or not, but it comes from up above. All a person has to do then is to receive these gifts, is simply to be open to receiving them, and this will draw it into their life. So he's saying to me that basically because of the way that our minds work, our thoughts are a closed book. So we are not really aware of what's coming at us from up above. So let's read and see what Rabbi Mimran says. So let me do what I did the last time and do the end first. If only we could peel away the layers of physical appearances and separate forms. If we could only see how this is the olam of separation, of the olam aparud, it's called. He says, we would see a magnificent unity of life. Then we would see life altogether differently. The beautiful, powerful, self-evident oneness of creation, oneness of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, that could be open to us. So let's go over here and let's see how I can read this, see what we can understand. When we allow our minds to rule us, we are living in a state of enslavement. The mind is merely one of many tools with which Hashem has gifted us to serve us and to help us navigate our way through life. Indeed, it is a most useful tool. But if we let the mind control the steering wheel, but if the mind is actually guiding our lives, giving the mind exclusive authority over us, it will create a life that is far less than we are capable of creating for ourselves. It will give us a limited life. What was his word? Far less than we are capable of creating for ourselves. And it will run that life on its own terms. The mind is independent and working by itself. It will build a smokescreen formed of dense layers of words, definitions, labels, images, concepts, and judgments. And this smokescreen will come between you and every true relationship you might have. It will hamper your relationship with your fellow man or woman, even your relationship with Hashem, and it will hamper your relationship with yourself. And I'm thinking of how I'm always trying to understand the people around me and what's going on around me, and I have preconceived notions. They fit into patterns in my thoughts. And he's saying that you have to do away with that. You have to listen. So let's see how he does it. He says, this smokescreen generates an illusion of separateness, a feeling that others are separate from you. So this is a little different direction. This is a dangerous illusion, for it prevents you from recognizing the essential truth that there is actually nothing that separates you from all that is. If only we could peel away the layers of physical appearances and separate forms, we would see a magnificent unity of life, the beautiful, powerful, self-evident oneness of creation. Hashem Echad. There is a way to peel away those layers. There is a way, in fact, to peel away those layers. And that way is by living a life of mindful attachment to the hidden aspects of your existence. So I guess first you have to recognize them, or you have to find your way to them. Attachment to your own neshama, which leads to true attachment to our Creator. Living in this way is not as complicated or as difficult as one might think, and there are incredible benefits, for it will end the countless forms of our suffering and will melt away the oppressive, unrelenting conflict we experience within and without. Even more important, it will put an end to our appalling enslavement to the incessant thinking. Let me read it again. Even more important, it will put an end to our appalling enslavement to incessant thinking. What an incredible liberation that is. So we can liberate ourselves. He's got to teach us how. This is Baruch Fleischman speaking on behalf of the Tikkun Elevator Kollel.